Is the unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern? Is unnamed tavern named unnamed tavern, or is it a tavern that's not been named?
Donald Trump and his indictments. So,
Oh, yes.
Yes.
who wants to take this one and run?
Well, as somebody, you know,
I'm just gonna
I went through significant training in handling of documents, like
Same.
what was there, and it is one of the things that a training that I received did was to explain that ignorance is no excuse, right? You said that if you mishandle documents, there will be consequences, even if it's an accident, because it's not your intent that gets you in trouble; it's the actions you take. So,
consequences, yeah.
I can tell you that I still kind of recoil in horror seeing just like the that FBI picture, evidence picture with documents on Trump's
Scattered on the floor.
office floor with
Oh, I got that one.
markings that basically said these are sensitive stuff. These are not trivial things. Even if those folders were empty, the fact that you have
There would
the
be a
documents
reason why
out
they're
displayed
empty.
like that is wrong, and there needs to be consequences for it. Now we know from audio clips that Trump was aware, and people make a big point of it. But the issue is not whether he's aware or not. The issue is what happened, right? Having a bunch of sensitive documents of various classifications in your bathroom with a nice window outside and no document control is a serious violation of itself, right? So we have prima facie evidence that it was known. He's responsible. It doesn't matter what his intent was. What matters is waving around a document is to people that shouldn't even know it existed is in itself a violation that's punishable.
Yeah.
We know that, for example, Trump was dumb enough to for example, wave a document in front of the Russian ambassador, who was selected for his photographic memory.
Oh my fucking
and
lord!
It was waved text first, because Trump is going to say, "Look at what a big person I am. See this document?" He holds up there, and the guy looks at it.
Mommy, look!
Right?
The teacher
So-
gave
so-
me
so
the
we know-
assignment.
we know that this guy is has poor document handling. The issue was stealing documents from the United States, because again, as presidency, the documents are in your presidency are not yours. They're government documents, effectively owned by the people and managed by National Archives. So in addition to all this, we seem to have the indictments talks about the fact that he was directing his lawyer to cover up crimes. So the MAGA crowd says, Biden, he had a document, blah blah blah, and Pence had a document, blah blah blah, and so forth. Well, the difference is they went and did a search with people who were qualified, has the clearance levels to understand what those documents are and to identify them, and they didn't turn around and just shred them and shove them in the toilet. We have pictures as Trump as president where he would rip a document and flush it in the toilet. There may be a reason why. No, I'm not kidding. He would just sort of sit there and say, he reads on the throne, and he ripped it up and shoves it in the toilet because
Oh my god!
you do not
when you work in a company. When you work in a company, there's a very specific set of rules you follow to dispose documents, company documents. They are shredded through and they're shredded through a specific machine in a specific location on the site, and then you third-party contractor comes in who specialize in, and it's in their contract that they're not going to share this information with anyone. when they dispose of that shredded paper, because some people are really good at putting that shit back, and there's a record of what paper went in there. Like there's a record of what was disposed
there
of.
Was there not a meme that went around of Donald Trump like just eating paper and like eating notes? Wasn't that a thing?
I think that was Nephilim free. Pretty sure that was Nephilim free.
Oh, okay. Could have sworn there was Trump eating paper sometimes.
Here's something though. Everyone's forgetting a really important thing about this, right? He really kind of wanted those documents.
They were
so
They had what is it? Emotional like.
Is it really a crime to take home with you the things that you worked, that other people worked so hard on your behalf when you were president? And sure, I mean, legally you're obligated to hand them over to the National Archives or whatever.
Absolutely, it's called theft. It is called theft.
Yeah, but but counterpoint, he really wanted to keep them.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm sure thieves that steal from a bank really want that money too. The point is,
those guys aren't Trump, though. That's the thing.
So Trump kept classified documents in his bathroom, in his bedroom, in his ballroom.
What the fuck?
He had known spies infiltrating Mar-a-Lago.
Could we say that a good description of this whole situation is Bed Bath and Beyond a Reasonable Doubt?
Oh, fuck off!
Now it has come out
not the Bed Bath and Beyond, dude. Come on.
That several, at least two of Trump's prominent lawyers in this case, have resigned. They petitioned the court to leave. They like Kyle's lawyer, who says essentially, I cannot maintain my professional ethics and so forth. I am resigning and request the court to remove him.
They didn't actually have to request the court. They actually were able to quit because they had not formally filed a notice of appearance yet. So they didn't even have to ask the court. They just bounced. They weren't technically representing him yet.
Trump and his valet, because I assume he had his valet do the heavy lifting, deliberately moved documents to avoid the search. In fact, it appears from the thing that as searches were going on, they had people scurrying around moving documents at different rooms to try to keep them out of it. And at one point, apparently, the people caught some people moving documents from one room to another in an attempt to try and shift it around. Of the 38 separate accounts, the other thing is that he told his attorneys to search for the material and remove any problematic documents before handing them over. To try to have folders which remove documents which are owned by the American government, which are sensitive to classified, to highly classified, and so he actively tried to obstruct an investigation, which itself is a crime. And his personal valet, his aide, literally made false statements, knowing apparently they have evidence where they knew the statements were false and refined them to make them sound plausible. And he has incident. They have two incidents where he was showing off highly classified materials to people that are not cleared as a bragging sort of thing, right? Again, it's ego stuff. He apparently has moved his documents to a place called Westminster as another thing to try to keep it. We still don't know. So the difference between a highly cleared aide of the Vice President, then Vice President Biden, going through documents to make sure there's no mistakes, finding a mistake, reporting it, right? Because if you find there's been a document problem, even if you cause it, the worst thing you could do is cover it up. If you find there's been a document mishandling, you report it right away because they want to know that there's potential and assess the damage. But hiding stuff around and trying to keep from being caught is there. So they found 2020 nuclear document, for example, things relating to nuclear capabilities documents in Trump's home from 2020, right? What? They in fact they had documents when they were moving them, with box so full that the documents were falling out on the floor that had classified stuff there. So this is not a matter of a document was missed that was considered sensitive that someone like Obama or
it's not
even
like
Carter or so forth discovered and said, "Hey, a mistake was made."
Yeah.
This is wholesale theft and wholesale.
That's what
and
that's
if
what I tell my
Trump, you'd be in jail for I think there's a good case to say that Trump is a risk, and a risk is
he's
him
a threat.
discussing and bragging about stuff he has or stuff he knows. And I would, as a prosecutor, really consider that he might need to be incarcerated for purpose of remanding to trial rather than let run loose.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think there's essentially zero chance of him facing pre-trial.
I agree.
He's way too rich for that.
I agree, but this is the problem.
That's what I tell my colleagues who come to me oh, I made this mistake. How can I cover it up? Correct it without anyone knowing. I'm like, you made a mistake. Okay, we'll find a way to correct it, but you need to report it, because especially stuff around the Privacy Act that we have, we need to make sure that people's health information and injury information is kept private. And not it doesn't get released accidentally. If it does, there are ways to bring it back under control. But if you're not going to report it, you're not going to get that help.
So understand, if the feds came in to my office and found a highly classified document on the floor, right? I would be in so many trouble. One of the things is, why in the hell is it on your floor in the first place? Why did you take it from its spot? Why do you have it? Why didn't you recognize what it is? It's one thing to say some memo got slipped in between papers of a book and you missed it.
Somebody took one of his shits out of the toilet after he ate all the notes and tried to put it back together.
Yeah. So if you were caught with a document like that, it's a career-ending move, and potentially you're up for very severe prosecution. Now, I am willing to let the court system go through its process. I'm happy to do that sort of thing. But I have to say, given the material evidence, that charges against Trump are extraordinarily serious. This is not a president forgot about a document thing. This appears to be blatant attempt to cover up an extraordinarily serious crime for which consequences need to be made. I'll let the trial go through it, but it is.
I will be very surprised.
Underscore how serious a breach of national security this is.
Yeah, it will be something like a corrupt judge or something like that if Donald Trump doesn't get charged or gets some sort of incarceration,
so
Landon said.
I have somebody in the chat called Ziggs is saying Biden is just as bad, and that both sides go to jail, and then in response to saying how bad Trump is and these charges are, is saying, what did he do?
So can I address Ziggs? Can I address?
Are you living under a rock?
Yes. Hold on, let Landon.
So okay. First of all, what you're doing is called whataboutisms, right? When you don't have a case, you say, "What about this other person?" It's like a bank robber saying, "Well, what about this other person? They stole stuff from a Walmart. Why aren't you prosecuting them?" Right? The fact you do that shows your case is either your troll or your case is bankrupt intellectually and legally. We didn't talk about the issue of the indictment is not about Carter or Reagan or Bush or so forth. It's about Trump. And the fact you say, what about something else, shows you've got nothing. Or you're a troll. Either way, F off.
When Landon tells you to F off, it's one of those things
God done something, boy.
It's one of those things where, I mean, we can talk about Biden and problems that Biden has. That's fine. It's just not what we're talking about right now. And whatever
Yeah.
whatever problem Biden does have is irrelevant to whatever problems Trump has. It's not like they're joined at the fucking hip.
Yeah.
No, they're definitely not. And also, like,
It's
look,
just
man,
like it's like anger
wake me up
trade,
when
like,
Biden's
going on
liable
Twitter,
for
but
sexual
what about
assaults.
them?
Or wake me up
I
when
mean-
Biden, in response to mishandling classified documents, just engages in criminal conspiracy rather than saying, "Oh, my bad, here they are."
There's also there
Yeah.
have been accusations about Biden and being inappropriate with women, and we've talked about those before. Go watch those episodes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's super
yeah.
creepy. Remember all
But-
those times he was sniffing people, including little girls' hair?
Yeah, it's weird.
Invoking the
I'm not
whataboutism.
here. I'm not here to defend Biden. I'm just saying, if you want to compare Trump's recent behavior to Biden's, and then say they should be treated the same, they're not acting the same. Period.
So Zigzag, invoking the whataboutism says you realize, unless you're a troll, that your side of this argument has serious problems, and the only thing you can hope to do is to try to deflect it with some other business. It is like somebody getting caught speeding, saying, "What about other people who speed?" Right? It's in fact an admission of a lack of credibility on your side, and so by that you have either identified you as a troll or condemned yourself and essentially admitted saying, "Yeah, we lost."
So
Yeah.
one of the things that I think is really funny about this is the trial is clashing with Trump's campaign trail.
Oh.
Aw.
I figured that would
Hey,
be.
you know what's
that,
a
I will
fun
just
way
say-
to? You know, there's this fun way to generally avoid having this problem. It's called "Don't commit obvious crimes in front of everyone."
Yes.
And there's also something really, really, really funny about it too, with how much that Trump decried all these issues about election fraud. He is under investigation in Georgia over election interference from the 2020 race.
Oh, and there's another federal grand jury investigating the January 6 events. He could be
Yep.
facing
Oh,
2
boy.
more indictments.
There's a whole
Oh,
bunch of
boy.
legal cases of various things that Trump is going forward. I believe it is an extraordinary condemnation of the Republican Party. The fact that they have not just failed to distance themselves, but they are actively, the majority of the leadership is actively, sycophantically pushing Trump. And that, to me, condemns the party. So I think the response is to the maximum extent allowed by law to inflict political damage on the Republican Party. And as example, as a voter, I look at every race, and if I find someone, even a nonpartisan race, who is a Republican, who's running, I make sure I don't vote for that person. Because you either have to condone the vast majority of the Republican leadership in letting this narcissistic insurrectionist continue, or you have to have the decency to resign from that party. Now, if you just say, "Well, what about the what about the Democrats? Or what about the?" Again, if you do the whataboutism, you just admit you've lost. So history is going to condemn the Republican Party, I believe, for support of Trump. There are people in the Republican Party who are rebelling and trying to do that, and good luck to them. But perhaps the honorable thing to do is resign from that party and have nothing to do with it.
It reminds me of when Lindsey Graham was like, if we elect the running man for the Republican Party as Donald Trump, it's going to destroy our party and we're going to deserve it. Lindsey Graham said that before Trump was
It's
the
like
nominee.
he's a prophet or something.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.